Alright guys, so today we are reviewing Dave's 2013 Genesis Coupe Rspec, and this car is already amazing. So definitely driving this thing, it feels like I'm on a race car. I mean, I definitely love the driving position on this car. It feels amazing. Sound coming out of the HKS blow-off valve that Dave has in this car. It sounds amazing. I mean, we talk about, you know, hearing the music to your ears every time you're driving down the streets. This car is awesome. So let's go ahead and reduce a little bit and see how this car does. Sounds pretty nice, right? Pretty good. This car has me smiling since I got on this car. It's amazing. I mean, I gotta say, I've been driving this car for about 5 minutes. I'm already loving the car. It's definitely handles amazing. It's definitely packed with, you know, very, very race driver kind of seat. I love how I'm sitting back in this car. The seats hold you in pretty good. The bolsters, I mean, you definitely feel in place when you're taking out a corner. You feel comfortable doing so. You know, it definitely makes for a very, very good pocket rocket, if you will. Definitely would, you know, it has the power you need, you know, whenever you need it, just to want to, you know, have some fun here and there from time to time. Even, you know, driving to work, even just cruising around, this car can definitely be a lot of fun. So talking about Hyundai for a second, now you have to give Hyundai some credit. They have really stepped up their game in the last couple of years, at least the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, they were not known for making high quality cars, and nowadays, I mean, you talk about like cars like this one, rear-wheel drive with this type of power, really making it a very fun sports vehicle. And talk about the Genesis sedan, for example. That is one of the most luxurious sedans you can get nowadays in the market. So Hyundai is actually moving forward with the strategy where they're actually not gonna brand Genesis as Hyundais anymore. Genesis is actually coming out of its own brand. That's how different and that's how special and that's how unique that Hyundai really wants to make the Genesis, as far as quality, as far as reliability, as far as type of car and what it has to offer. We are gonna turn to this back road here and see how the Genesis Coupe really does. Gonna get it in second gear here. There we go. All right, well, that was second and third. Definitely, you know, amazing feel to it when that boost comes on and the turbo starts to spool. You definitely feel that pressure, you know, of the car gluing you back in the seat every single time. So that HKS blow-off valve, guys, definitely reminds me of the Massive Speed 3 I had. Basically had the same exact HKS blow-off valve, which makes, and you probably agree or disagree with me, but makes one of the best blow-off valve sounds that you probably can find in the market nowadays. So David does have a Injen intake on this car, and he has a 3-inch turbo back pipe that with the Magnaflow muffler in the back, which definitely adds up to the nice sound of the car. Let's demonstrate it here. For years 2013 and up, Hyundai actually went with a plastic intake manifold that, for, you know, making the type of figures and the type of power that you want to put in this car, and for basically tuning it to make more power, the plastic intake manifold is not necessarily one of the smartest way to go. So he actually put in an earlier generation Genesis iron cast manifold. The issue is the plastic intake manifold can actually get a little iffy the more pounds of boost that you're running in your car, which is definitely why the iron one definitely makes for a better substitute. It definitely can take a lot more punishment and it can take a lot more pounds of boost while safely running your vehicle. You don't have to worry about that plastic intake manifold giving out on you. So I'm not sure if you guys can see, I'm not sure this video does justice about how fun this car is to drive. Now, this car is not necessarily a drag car. This car is not necessarily meant for super speeds on a straight line. What I can tell you is that this car is super balanced. I mean, we talk about the type of power that it does right off of the factory, with 274 horsepower and about 275 foot-pounds of torque. It's already good out of the box. Now, strapping just a couple bolt-ons on the car, it definitely makes a lot more fun. Just for a couple $100, you really can make this a nice little daily driver and have the power to have some fun on the weekends or whenever you want to. So to increase the airflow a little bit, right before David had slapped on that iron casted intake manifold and throttle body, he had it poured and polished, and that definitely helps a little bit more with the air intake that comes in the car. So you can see here, this car was done very well here in the front. Definitely some aftermarket touch-ups to it. Dave got rid of all the black plastics that come in the front, and he made for this Sinister, very aggressive and mean looking front end, as you can see here. Additionally, Dave also installed an aftermarket treadstone intercooler, which definitely helps the turbo and the temperature overall run a lot cooler, therefore increase the performance. So put on some IBAC springs aftermarket, dropped the car about 1.5 inches or so, and you know, you can definitely feel that in the car. I mean, it feels very confident when taking corners. You can feel the lower level of gravity in the car, but also you see me dodging all kinds of potholes and things on the streets, because you know, you can definitely feel that. And the suspension is a lot more rigid, it's a lot more tighter, and it definitely, you can feel that feedback on the car as you're driving, also on the steering wheel as well. Definitely makes for a very stable ride from the stock suspension. You can definitely feel a lot of what's going on the road. Anything you go over, you definitely feel that. It's more direct on the pavement. As you can see from the outside, the car does sit very nice. The fitment on this car is absolutely amazing. I definitely like what he's done. This car has 275 tires in the back and 245 in the front. You can definitely see the difference, and it definitely handles amazing as far as grip goes in the back. Almost forgot to mention these nice aftermarket rims. We're actually looking at the GNC 033s in white, which definitely make a very, very nice combination with the red of the car. The white rims definitely make a really nice look. They're actually very similar to the NK Racing Series NT03s, which are very similar rims as well. We're actually looking at an offset of 35 in the front and 25 in the rear wheels here. Now, believe it or not, even though the rear tires are very wide and there's a lot more grip than you get on your all-season tires that come from the factory, this car still can struggle for grip, believe it or not. So all you have to do is you know, take it into a corner, reduce a gear or two, and this car becomes you know, very, very tail happy for sure. This car does have a SFR tune done to it. It definitely increased the boost. It definitely has more throttle response, and last but not least, launch control. Also with the tune, this car is able to increase the Redline from 6,500 RPMs all the way to 7,200 RPMs, which definitely comes a lot, you know, it comes in handy a lot of times as you're pushing it and getting the best performance out of it. So a lot of people complain that these cars come with transmission problems. You see a lot of Genesis owners actually go with the automatic transmission and paddle shifters instead. instead of the manual. Now what it really comes down to, and what a lot of people actually do have issues with, is with the clunky shifting on this car. The shifter itself, not the transmission, but the actual shifter, is not necessarily one of the best ones out there. So to kind of take care of that shifting issue, the owner of this car actually took care of the shifter bushings, so replaced those and improved them as well as installed a short shifter, which definitely increases a lot of what shifting capabilities this car has now as compared to how it came stock from the factory. Another issue or something to be concerned about with this type of car is the fact that the real differential you kind of have to be very, very careful with. The more power, the more bolt-on parts or aftermarket installment you do on the car, the more horsepower you're running, the more torque. You definitely increase the possibilities of this differential actually blowing on you. Now this car, with everything Dave has done to it, is running about 300 horsepower to the wheel and about 310 pound-foot of torque, which definitely makes for a great, if not excellent, recipe for having a lot of fun. This car is still running the factory clutch, and definitely gets, takes a little bit of getting used to. Nothing aftermarket, but just getting a little bit of getting used to. But once you get the clutch figure out, you're good to go. This car, being the R-Spec, does come with Brembo brakes, which is pretty good. Now, one of the biggest concerns with the Genesis owners is the fact that these Brembo brakes, unlike other Brembo brakes on other different cars, don't necessarily have the same bite when you step on them. Some of the other cars that come with Brembo brakes from the assembly line do have more of a bite to them, and they actually feel like more quality when it comes to stopping your car and so on. It can easily be fixed with just slapping different pads on there, and basically once you do that, the braking power of the car increases very drastically. Speaking about the interior a little bit, I'm not gonna say I'm necessarily disappointed with Hyundai, but there was a lot of things. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement on this type of car. You can definitely see a lot of wear and tear early on in the car that's premature, that definitely shouldn't be there. That definitely, I'm sure Genesis owners would be a lot happier if they were done in more of a quality material, more of what you find in different cars, even with the same price range or price bucket, if you will. You see a lot of cheap plastic on some different parts, and a lot of plastic chrome that starts to scrape off a little bit as well. The car does come with a boost gauge, this being the turbo version, otherwise you will have a torque gauge. And the way they place it, they actually place it right down here. So if you're looking for your boost as you're stepping on it, I don't think that necessarily is the most efficient way to place a boost gauge. As you can see, somewhere around up here, or perhaps on the pillar or on top of the dashboard would be a better place. Not necessarily right down here by the shifter, where it definitely takes your sight off the road completely. Because of the stock boost gauge actually being limited to 15 pounds of boost, they've actually had to go with an AEM boost gauge aftermarket and install it into this car, since with the tune he's running right now, he's making about 20 or 22 pounds of boost. So Dave also has a wideband installed in the car that definitely helps for being able to monitor the fuel, make sure that you're not running lean at any time, and definitely helps avoid early detonation. So from an outsider's perspective, I never really imagined that Hyundai Genesis would be so much fun. I gotta say that I have certainly changed my point of view. These cars can definitely pack a punch, and I'm very impressed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very impressed with the performance, with all that it has to deliver. Okay guys, so definitely want to give a huge shout out to David for letting me borrow his car and be able to review it today. You guys have to go check out David's channel. He has a lot of videos there about his car. Please make sure to show some support and subscribe as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I mean, this car is absolutely amazing. I definitely love driving this car. Let me know what you think about the Genesis Coupe Rspec. I mean, what do you like about it? What do you hate about it? What do you love? Definitely, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. I always say, you know, if you're stopping in the channel for the very first time, please make sure to subscribe. There's a lot of these reviews coming down the line for you guys. You know, you definitely wouldn't want to miss any of them, so make sure to smash that subscribe button as well, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.